The rifle bucked in my hands, the crack echoing through the dense canopy like a thunderclap from hell. Blood sprayed across the ferns, warm and metallic, staining my boots as I staggered back. But it wasn't the deer that fell. It was him, my father's oldest friend, crumpling to the jungle floor with a look in his eyes that shattered everything I thought I knew. I dropped the gun like it was cursed, my fingers numb, the world tilting sideways in a haze of green and brown. Elias Kane, the man who'd been like an uncle to me since I was old enough to throw a baseball, lay there clutching his side, his flannel shirt blooming dark red under his fingers. His breath came in ragged gasps, fogging the cool Pacific Northwest air, and those steel-gray eyes that had always sparkled with stories of my dad's wild youth, locked onto mine with something raw, something forbidden. "Grant," he whispered, voice gravelly from pain. "It's okay. It's not your fault." But it was. Every damn bit of it. The Olympic Peninsula's temperate rainforest. Locals called it the jungle for its suffocating thickness of ferns and cedars, had swallowed us whole that morning. We'd driven out from Seattle in his battered Ford F-150, the kind with mud-caked tires and a gun rack in the back window. Radio tuned low to some old Springsteen track my father loved. Elias had shown up at my apartment door 2 weeks earlier, broad-shouldered and weathered at 48, his salt and pepper beard trimmed neat, carrying a six-pack of Rainier and that easy grin that hid a lifetime of regrets. "Your old man would have wanted this, kid," he'd said, clapping a hand on my shoulder. "You, me, the woods. Get you out of that city fog. Make a man of you." Dad had died 3 years back, a heart attack in the middle of a Mariners game, leaving me with a shoebox of photos and a mortgage I could barely afford on my barista gig at that hipster spot in Capitol Hill. Robert Thompson, the guy who'd taught me to fish off Alki Beach and swear in 3 languages, gone just like that. Elias was the closest thing to family left, his best friend since Vietnam protests in '68, bonded over cheap beer and bad decisions. But lately, I'd caught myself staring at Elias a beat too long when he dropped by. The way his calloused hands wrapped around a coffee mug, the low rumble of his laugh when he teased me about my artsy sketches pinned to the fridge, scared the hell out of me. I dated girls in college, quick, fumbling things that left me hollow. But this pull toward him? It was a secret I'd buried deeper than Dad's ashes scattered over Puget Sound. We'd hiked in at dawn, packs heavy with venison jerky and a thermos of black coffee. The trailhead marker faded from years of rain. The air hung thick, moss-draping trees like funeral veils, the ground squelching underfoot. Elias led the way, his Remington slung over one shoulder, pointing out tracks in the mud. "Elk, maybe black bear. See that?" he'd say, crouching low, his voice a murmur that sent shivers unrelated to the chill. "Patience, Grant. Worlds full of things waiting to be chased." His eyes would meet mine then, lingering, and I'd look away, heart hammering like a war drum. By noon, we'd spotted the buck, antlers like twisted branches, grazing oblivious in a sun-dappled clearing. Elias nodded me forward, rifle ready. "Your shot, son. Make it count." My hands shook as I sighted down the barrel, the crosshairs dancing. The world narrowed to that pulse in my throat, the scent of wet earth and pine. I squeezed the trigger, and everything went to ruin. Now, kneeling in the mud beside him, I pressed my bandana to the wound, blood seeping through like accusations. "Hold on, Elias. Just hold on." My voice cracked, boyish and useless. He winced, but his hand found mine, gripping tight, too tight, fingers interlacing in a way that wasn't uncle-nephew at all. "Listen to me," he rasped, face paling under the scruff. "There's things I never told you. About your dad. About me." His thumb brushed my knuckles, a touch that ignited something feral in my chest, equal parts terror and hunger. Sirens wailed distant, choppers thumping overhead. Some hiker must have heard the shot gone wrong. But in that suspended moment, with ferns whispering secrets around us, Elias pulled me closer, his breath hot against my ear. "I love you, Grant. Not like a kid. Like God. Like this." His lips brushed my jaw, feather light, and the world cracked open. The medevac team burst through the underbrush 20 minutes later, orange jumpsuits clashing with the green hell. They stabilized him on a stretcher, barking orders about blood loss and internal bleeding, loading him into the belly of the bird. I followed in the truck to Harborview, Seattle's trauma cathedral, pacing the ER waiting room with its fluorescent buzz and stale coffee. Hours blurred. Surgeons in masks, beeping monitors, a nurse with kind eyes pressing a clipboard into my hands for consent forms. Elias pulled through, grazed the liver, they said, lucky miss. But luck had nothing to do with it. When they let me in, he was propped up in a sterile bed, for dripping saline, looking smaller than the giant I'd idolized. Hey, cowboy, he murmured, managing a weak smile. I sank into the chair, elbows on knees, avoiding his gaze. The kiss, had it happened? Or was it the morphine talking? Elias, what the hell was that? My voice was barely above a whisper, throat tight. He sighed, long and weary, staring at the rain-lashed window overlooking Elliott Bay. Truth? Been fighting it since you turned 21. Your dad. He knew. Hell, he suspected. We were close like that. Shared everything but the one thing that could have wrecked us. His eyes, fever-bright, finally met mine. I buried it when Robert died. Thought it'd die with him. But you're him but softer, braver. My chest caved. Dad knew? About Elias? Flashes hit me. Old photos of them arm in arm at protests. The way Elias's name always carried a weight in Dad's stories. Unspoken edges. I'm not straight, Elias. Haven't been for years. But you're married? No, divorced a decade ago, kid off in college. Straight as the day is long, or so I'd thought. Not anymore, he said simply, reaching for my hand again. This time I didn't pull away. Our fingers tangled, rough against smooth, and in that hospital hush, the first threads of something real began to weave. But outside, the storm gathered, family calls, small-town whispers from Elias's Montana roots bleeding into Seattle's gossip mill. What happened in the jungle wasn't just a stray bullet. It was the shot heard round our worlds. The days that followed were a fever dream of stolen moments. I'd sneak in after shifts, bringing takeout pho from the Vietnamese spot on Pike, feeding him bites while he spun tales of his youth. Hitchhiking Route 66, bartending in New Orleans dives. His laugh rumbled low, pulling me in like gravity. One night, lights dimmed. He traced my palm with his thumb. Your hands. Artist's hands. Not like mine, calloused from wrenches and rifles. I was a graphic designer by trade now, freelancing logos for startups, but he'd always called my sketches pretty boy doodles. You're wrong, I whispered, leaning closer, our breaths mingling. They're just hands. But when his lips found mine, tentative then fierce, the room spun. Salt and coffee and the tang of hospital antiseptic. His beard scraping my skin like sandpaper on silk. It was messy, urgent, a dam breaking after years of drought. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the monitors beeping a frantic duet. I can't lose you too, I admitted, voice muffled against his collar. He'd lost Dad. I'd lost my anchor. But this was uncharted. A love that defied the maps we'd both followed blindly. Discharge came a week later, Elias hobbling on crutches into my cramped queen and walk-up. The apartment smelled of rain-soaked wool and microwave ramen, posters of indie bands curling at the edges. He sank onto the couch, gray eyes scanning the space like he was memorizing it. Cozy, he grunted. But there was warmth there, approval. I helped him settle, our touches lingering, brushing knees, accidental grazes that sparked like live wires. That first night, sleep evaded us. Rain pattered the skylight, city lights smearing gold across the ceiling. He pulled me down beside him, arm heavy across my waist, his heartbeat steady against my back. Tell me about you, he murmured into my hair. The parts Robert never knew. So I did. Nights scrolling Grindr in secret. The ache of hookups that left me emptier. The therapy sessions where I'd whisper, I'm gay, to a stranger for the first time. He listened, fingers carding through my hair, his silence a bomb. By dawn, we'd crossed another line. Slow, exploratory, bodies mapping unfamiliar terrain under threadbare sheets. His scars, faded from a logging accident in his 20s, told stories under my lips. My hesitations melted in his patient hands. It was tender, reverent, the kind of intimacy that rewires your soul. But morning brought reality's bite. A text from his ex-wife, Linda, heard about the accident. Coming to check on you. With the kids. Elias's face tightened. Phone clattering to the floor. Shit. The jungle's echo lingered. Not just blood, but the shockwaves rippling out. Linda arrived that afternoon like a Pacific squall, her SUV crunching gravel in the alley below. She was all Montana steel. Blonde hair pulled into a severe ponytail. Jeans starched crisp. Eyes blue as Glacier Lake and twice as cold. Trailing her were the twins, Riley and Reese, 22 and home from Bozeman for break. Lanky and awkward in university hoodies. They piled into my living room, filling the space with the scent of fast food burgers and unspoken judgments. Elias straightened on the couch, crutches propped like sentinels, forcing a grin. Linz, didn't expect you so soon. She pecked his cheek, efficient as a business transaction, then turned those eyes on me. Grant Thompson, Robert's boy, heard you played hero out there. Her tone was neutral, but the undercurrent hummed. What are you doing here? I mumbled something about coincidence, busying myself with coffee mugs, steam curling like escape routes. The twins hovered, Reese snapping pics of the skyline view while Riley eyed my sketchpad on the table, flipping through pages of half-formed faces. Ethereal men in fog-shrouded streets, lines heavy with longing. These are intense, he said, not unkindly. Elias coughed, shifting topics to weather and football, but the air thickened, charged. Dinner was a farce. Takeout Thai from the corner joint, sprawled on the floor with paper plates. Linda dominated, recounting ranch life back home. The calving season gone south, a neighbor's divorce fodder for the diner crowd. Elias nodded along, his hand finding mine under the coffee table, squeezing once, hard. It was our secret Morse code, stay. But when Reese asked about the hunting mishap, the room went still. Stray shot, Elias said quick, waving it off. Grant here's a natural. Nailed that buck clean. Lies, all of it. The buck had bolted unharmed while Elias took the hit. My stomach twisted. Guilt was a live thing in my gut, coiling tighter. Linda's gaze sharpened. Lucky it wasn't worse. You too. Close. Huh? Like old times with Robert. The words landed like buckshot. Close. Elias's thumb stilled on my knuckle, and I felt the fracture lines spiderwebbing. After they left, promises of family dinner soon hanging like threats, the silence crashed down. Elias limped to the window, staring at the Space Needle's glow. She's sniffing it out. Always could. I joined him, arms slipping around his waist from behind, chin on his shoulder. Sniffing what? Us. The word tasted foreign, thrilling. He turned, cupping my face, kiss salt-edged with worry. Yeah, and it ain't just her. Word spreading, ER staff talk. Hunters at the trailhead saw the evac. Small world, even in Seattle. He wasn't wrong. By week's end, my phone buzzed with texts from old college buddies. Dude, you shoot your dad's buddy? Wild. Then, a voicemail from Aunt Clara in Spokane. Dad's sister, voice syrupy with concern. Grant, honey, call me. Heard Elias is staying with you. Everything all right? Subtext. What's a grown man doing crashing with his dead friend's son? We ignored it, holing up in a bubble of domesticity. Mornings, I'd brew coffee strong as Elias liked, black with a slug of whiskey. Evenings, he'd prop his leg and watch me work, his commentary a low drawl on my designs. That line, there's got fire, kid. Like you. Nights blurred into skin and size, his body a landscape of muscle and memory, teaching me rhythms I'd only dreamed. He was patient, guiding with whispers. Here, slow. Yeah, like that. In his arms, I wasn't the fumbling boy from hookups. I was seen, wanted, whole. but cracks showed. Elias winced through physical therapy sessions at the VA clinic in Lake City, old war ghosts stirring PTSD from Nam echoes, though he'd never served. Your dad pulled me out of a bad spot once. He confessed over takeout burritos, eyes distant. Draft Dodgers, bar fight in Berkeley. He said, Elias, love's the only war worth fighting. I'd press for more, but he'd deflect, kissing me quiet. What had Dad known? Suspected? The jungle wound festered not just in flesh, but in truths half-buried. One drizzly Tuesday we ventured out. First real date disguised as errands. Pike Place market thrummed. Fishmongers hurling salmon, street fiddlers tugging heartstrings. Elias in a wool peacoat, me in my leather jacket, hands brushing in crowds. At a stall piled with artisanal cheeses, he fed me a sliver of aged cheddar, thumb lingering on my lip. Taste like home, he murmured. I nodded, pulse racing, but a voice cut through. Elias Kane? No shit. It was Tucker Hale, ex-logger from Elias's crew, burly and beer-bellied, clapping him on the back. Heard you ate lead out east. Who's the pretty boy? His eyes raked me, smirk wolfish. Elias stiffened. Grant, friend of the family. Tucker's laugh boomed. Family, huh? Tell Linda I said hey. She's been asking around. He winked, vanishing into the throng. We fled to the waterfront, salt wind whipping off the sound. Elias lit a cigarette, rare habit, stress-fueled, exhaling smoke like regret. Tuck's got a mouth like a storm drain. It'll hit her by morning. I grabbed his arm. So what? We're adults. It's 2025, not the Stonewall riots. But my voice wavered. Seattle was progressive on paper, but queer love in middle age? It drew stares, whispers, and with Dad's ghost between us. That night, the fight ignited. He paced the apartment, crutches thumping like accusations. You think it's easy? I've got a life back there. Ranch shares, buddies who've known me 40 years as Straight Arrow Elias. Coming out at my age? It's suicide, slow kind. I fired back, hurt sharpening my words. And me? I'm 25, finally owning this part of me, and you're ashamed? After the jungle, after. My voice broke, tears hot. He crossed the room in 3 strides, pulling me into his chest. Not ashamed of you, of failing him, Robert. Promised I'd look after you, not this. We made up in the dark, bodies frantic, apologies etched in bites and gasps. But dawn brought Linda's call, we need to talk. Now. She showed up solo, face etched with lines I hadn't noticed before. Over herbal tea her choice, my kitchen feeling invaded. She laid it out. Elias, the kids heard rumors. From that hunter grapevine. You and Grant. Is it true? He met her gaze steady. Yeah, it's true. The words hung seismic. She didn't rage, just nodded, weary. I always wondered. After me, you never. Well. A pause, then to me. He loves fierce, Grant. Don't let him run. She left with a hug that lingered, maternal and mournful. Relief washed us, tentative, but the shockwaves rolled on. Elias's phone lit up. Old crew texts laced with jokes turning sour. What's this queer shit? Kane? My inbox filled with concern trolls from extended family. The jungle's bullet had pierced more than flesh. It exposed us, raw and bleeding. Yet in the quiet hours, we'd steal to Discovery Park, crutches abandoned for my arm, watching ferries slice the bay. Worth it? I'd ask, head on his shoulder. He'd kiss my temple, every scar, but doubt nod, his Montana pull, my city roots. The real hunt was just beginning. Fall deepened Seattle's gray palette, leaves turning copper under perpetual drizzle, streets slick with neon reflections. Elias's leg mended slow, therapy a grind of pulleys and pain, but he pushed through with that bull-headed grace, turning sessions into our ritual. Me driving the old F-150, Springsteen crooning low, his hand on my thigh like an anchor. We'd stop at Salumi for sandwiches after, soprasada dripping olive oil, laughing over bites about nothing. A barista's bad tattoo, the latest Mariner's implosion. It felt normal, achingly so. This man in my passenger seat, filling silences I'd long endured alone. But normalcy was a fragile truce. The rumors metastasized. At my freelance meetup in Fremont, graphic designers nursing IPAs at a brewery with exposed brick. Colleagues rib gentle. Heard you're shacked up with a silver fox. Spill. I played it cool, quipping about roommate perks. But inside, panic fluttered. Coming out piecemeal was like undressing in stages, exhilarating, then exposed. Elias faced worse. His phone silenced now, voicemails from Bozeman piling like indictments. One night he played Tucker's back. Man, if it's a phase, fine. But don't drag Robert's kid into your midlife crisis. Elias hurled the device across the room, screen cracking on tile. Crisis? 40 years hiding, and they call it a phase. He slumped against the counter, face crumpling. First crack in his armor. I knelt, gathering shards, our hands colliding in the mess. They're scared of losing their version of you. He pulled me up, forehead to mine. What about your version? Scared of this? His voice was small, vulnerable, the hunter humbled. I kissed him then, fierce, tasting salt of unshed tears. Terrified, but staying. We tumbled to the rug, clothes shedding like old skins. His body arching under mine in the firelight from the gas insert. It was slower this time, exploratory. Fingers tracing vertebrae, lips mapping collarbones. Building to a crescendo that left us wrecked, entwined. Afterward, whispers in the glow, dreams deferred. His of a woodworking shop in the Cascades. Mine of illustrating queer graphic novels. We could build that, he murmured. Together. Hope flickered, fragile as bioluminescent fungi in the woods. Thanksgiving loomed, a familial gauntlet. Aunt Clara insisted. Full spread at her spoken spread. Turkey brining, pies from scratch. Family men's wounds, Grant. Elias begged off, legs acting up. But I saw the fear, Montana's shadow long. I went alone, the drive east a blur of wheat fields gold under weak sun. Clara's Victorian creaked welcome, table groaning with yams and cranberry relish, kin orbiting like satellites. Cousins with toddlers, uncles swapping hunting yarns. Seated between second cousin Mia, fiery redhead, newly out herself, and Uncle Walt, who grilled me on city life. The Inquisition simmered subtle. Elias not coming? Miss that old coot stories. Walt's eyes twinkled, but Mia's foot nudged mine under linen. Spill later. Post-feast, kids banished to pie in the den. The women cornered me in the kitchen. Clara, Mia, even quiet Aunt June. Heard whispers, nephew, about you and Elias. True. Clara's voice was soft, pie crust flaking under her nails. I swallowed, throat dry as autumn leaves. Yeah. New. Real. Silence, then Clara's hug, bone creaking. Your dad would have been proud. He loved fierce too, him and Elias, thick as thieves. Suspected more, but never pushed. Mia grinned wicked. About time us Thompsons claimed our rainbows. Relief flooded, warm as mulled cider. But Walt pulled me aside later, cigar smoke curling on the porch. Boy loves a hunt. Sometimes you bag the wrong prey. Elias, he's got baggage heavier than that F-150. His warning hung, paternal and pointed. Back in Seattle, snow dusting the Olympics like powdered sugar. I related all to Elias over cocoa spiked with bourbon. He chuckled at Mia's quips, but Walt's words landed heavy. Baggage. Yeah. The kind that drowns you. He confessed then, halting. The divorce not just drift, but discovery. Finding men in bars after Linda slept, guilt gnawing till it snapped them. Thought I was broken. Buried it deep, for the kids, the crew. Robert knew, caught me once, post-bar in Tacoma. Didn't judge. Said, fix it or own it, brother. Tears tracked his cheeks, rare as desert rain. I wiped them, heart aching. You own it now. With me. Our kiss tasted of chocolate and catharsis, leading to the bedroom where vulnerability stripped us bare. He let me lead, surrendering control. Hands pinned gentle, breaths sinking in the dim. It was worship, him murmuring my name like prayer, me unraveling in his hold. Dawn found us tangled, promises whispered against skin. But betrayal brewed distant. Christmas neared, and Linda called, not for holiday cheer, but ultimatum. The twins want their dad home. Clean break, Elias. For appearances. Her voice cracked, not anger, but ache. He agreed, voice hollow. Yeah, for them. When he hung up, the apartment chilled. Just till New Year's, he said, packing duffel with mechanical pulls. Then back. Promise. I drove him to Seattle-Tacoma, wipers slashing sleet, radio silent. At departures, his kiss was desperate, airport bustle blurring. Wait for me, Grant. It's the real hunt. He limped through security, silhouette fading, leaving me hollowed. Solstice passed in solitude. String lights twinkling mocking, take-out eggnog turning stomach. I sketched him, profile sharp against jungle green, eyes stormy. Pages filling with what-ifs. New Year's Eve, Capitol Hill pulsed. Fireworks over the Needle, crowds toasting fresh starts. I wandered bars, dodging propositions, texts to Elias unanswered. Landed safe? Miss you. Silence echoed louder than blasts. January 1st dawned hungover, resolve stealing. I threw myself into work. A queer lit mag commission, illustrations of lovers in shadowed alleys, raw with our story's echo. But mid-month, the call shattered. Mia, voice trembling. Grant. Elias. Overdose. Pills and whiskey. They found him in the guest room. World grade. Flight to Bozeman was a blur. Tundra white below, heart blacker. Airport reunion. Linda hollow-eyed. Twins shattered. He talked about you, she whispered in the sterile waiting area. Last week's all the time. Said you were his redemption. Riley added, quiet. Found letters. To you. Unsent. The ranch house loomed, snow-blanketed, wood smoke curling mournful. Elias lay in the parlor, made up peaceful, suit ill-fitting on his frame. Gray hair combed, hands folded over a photo. Him, dad, me at 10, fishing poles raised triumphant. I collapsed beside the casket, fingers tracing cold cheek. You promised, I choked. You coward. Rage and grief warred, fists clenched till knuckles white. Funeral was small. Crew in flannel, kin murmuring psalms. Eulogy fell to me, words stumbling. Elias taught me patience, in woods and heart. He chased shadows long, but found light in unexpected places. Lies? Truth? Both. At graveside, Montana wind howling. Linda pressed an envelope into my palm. Read it. Foreclosure. Back in a Bozeman motel. Neon buzzing vacancy like accusation. I tore it open. Pages, scrawled frantic. Grant. Loves a jungle, thick and treacherous. I ran because I can't lose another Thompson. But without you, I'm adrift. Forgive my weakness. Yours always, Elias. Sobs racked me till dawn. Sheets sodden. Betrayal stung fresh, not death, but the hiding, the half measures. Yet under it, love's stubborn root. February's grip on Seattle was iron. Skies leaden, sound churning gray under fairy wakes. I returned hollowed, apartment echoing Elias's absence. His flannel draped over chair, coffee mug ringed on the counter. Work blurred. Deadlines met on autopilot, illustrations bleeding grief into ink. Lovers parted by fog, hands reaching futile. Mia checked in weekly, her voice a lifeline. Grieve ugly, Grant. It's how we heal. But healing felt myth, a story for straights with tidy arcs. The letters, 6 in all, tucked in a shoebox Linda shipped, became ritual. I'd read them at twilight, balcony overlooking the hill's eclectic sprawl. Victorian gingerbread strung with pride flags, coffee shops spilling laughter. Elias's script looped earnest. Remember the market? Your laugh when the fish slapped my boot. That's joy I chased too late. Or darker. Nights after your dad died. I drive by your place. Lights off. Wondering if you'd take a broken man. They wove our tapestry. Jungle blood to hospital heat. Market mischief to motel despair. Last one. Dated the night he swallowed pills. If I go quiet, know it's fear, not farewell. Find your wild Grant. Hunt it down. Therapy resumed. My counselor's office in Belltown, a sanctuary of plants and plush chairs. Dr. Reyes, Latina with eyes like polished obsidian, leaned forward. What does his leaving teach you about your patterns? I traced couch seam. That love's a risk, and I'm tired of safe. Sessions unearthed roots. Dad's stoic love. My closet years masking as flexible. Hookups as rebellion. Elias cracked me open, but his end? Cauterized, scaring over tenderness. Spring teased tentative. Crocuses pushing pavement cracks, markets blooming tulips. I accepted a mural gig, queer history wall in Capitol Hill, faces of Stonewall rebels in vibrant acrylics. Painting high on scaffolding, wind nipping, felt like resurrection. Strokes bold, colors defying gray. Passers-by catcalled encouragement. Looking good up there. One drag queen tossing glitter like confetti. It anchored me. This city pulse, reminding queer life thrived beyond one man's shadow. Yet ghosts lingered. A trip to the peninsula solo, trailhead unchanged, ferns unfurling verdant. I hiked the path we took, rifle echo phantom in my ears. At the clearing, I sat cross-legged, unpacking the Remington Elias's, gifted pre-funeral. Sighted an imaginary buck, trigger pull dry. Missed on purpose? I whispered to wind. No answer, but catharsis stirred. Forgiveness, not absolution. His death wasn't my bullet, but our unspoken fears. Back home, a package waited. From Riley, Elias's son. Inside, a carved box, walnut, Elias's handiwork. Holding a journal, leather-bound. Pages chronicled his hidden years. Bar confessions and dim dives. A lover lost to AIDS in the 90s. Guilt chaining him to heteronorm masks. One entry gutted. Met Grant today. Robert's echo, but eyes that see through me. God help me, I want to drown in them. Tears blurred ink. He loved me known, flawed. Emboldened, I reached out. Grinder dormant, but a coffee with Theo. A barista from my shop, tall, black, with locks cascading and a smile like sunrise. We met at Analog Vinyl Spinning Coltrane. Conversation flowed easy. His poetry slams, my murals, shared laughs over bad exes. Your healing glow, he said, hand brushing mine. Sparks, tentative, not Elias's wildfire, but embers promising warmth. Dating Theo was sunlight after storm. Bike rides along the Burke Guilford, picnics in Gasworks Park with skyline jagged. His touch was gentle, exploratory. Kisses tasting of matcha and mint. Bodies sinking in my bed with laughter punctuating sighs. Your poetry, he'd murmur post-climax. Fingers tracing my ribs. It mended cracks. This lightness, teaching love needn't wound. But crisis crested Memorial Day. Aunt Clara's annual barbecue in Spokane. Tradition revived. Kin converging. I brought Theo, hand in his, stealing for scrutiny. The backyard buzzed. Grill smoke curling, kids chasing frisbees, Uncle Walt flipping burgers with tongs. Eyes widened at our entrance. Clara's hug enveloping us both. Mia whooping, babe alert. But Walt pulled me aside, beer-foamed mustache twitching. New fella? Good. But don't forget roots, boy. Elias. He was root deep in you. His words festered subtle, Theo sensing tension over potato salad. Ex-baggage? He asked later, drive home. I 90 ribboning dark. I nodded, spilling jungle to grave, voice raw. Theo listened, hand steady on gear shift. Sounds epic, tragic. But you're here, Grant. With me. His kiss at my door was fierce, affirming, but doubt wormed. Was I rebounding or reclaiming? June brought heatwave, city simmering, murals complete. Wall unveiling a block party of drag and DJs. Theo's arm around me as Mayor cut ribbon. Pride Month pulsed. Parades rainbowing streets, floats thumping bass. We marched, signs high. Love wins, late bloomers too. Sweat slick, euphoric. But in the crush, a face from Elias's crew. Tucker, drunk and belligerent. Thompson, dragon another? Cain rolls in his grave. He lunged, sloppy. Security hauled him, but venom lingered. That night, Theo confronted Gentle. You flinched, like his ghost owns you. Tears pricked. Maybe. He broke me open, then broke. Theo cupped my face. Then close it your way. I'm not him. We made love urgent, reclaiming space. His body lithe, contrasting Elias's bulk, rhythms new and vital. Dawn he stayed, breakfast banter over avocado toast. July 4th, fireworks over Lake Union, we picnicked with Mia and her girlfriend, queer pod solidifying. But mid-boom, my phone vibrated. Unknown Montana number. Riley's voice, hesitant. Grant? Dad's journal. Mentioned a safety deposit box. In your name. Seattle. Heart stuttered. Next day, downtown bank. Key turning lock revealing stacks. Letters from Elias to Dad yellowed. A will addendum naming me beneficiary, not just heir, but the one who saw me true. And photos. Elias Young, arm around a man in 70s flares, faces blurred but love clear. It undid me in the vault's chill. He wasn't coward, but cartographer, mapping paths for me. Back home, Theo held me through sobs. This changes nothing? He asked, wary. Everything, I admitted. Makes me braver. August waned humid, crisis peaking in a storm. Theo proposed road trip, Oregon coast, his idea of reset. We drove Highway 101, windows down, salt wind wild. Cannon Beach, haystack rock looming, we hiked tide pools, fingers laced. But at a driftwood fire that night, waves crashing, doubt crested. I love you, I said, unprompted. He stilled, eyes searching. But Elias, his end haunts. What if I can't? Words choked. Theo's face shadowed. You're choosing ghosts over us. Hurt flashed, real. He packed Dawn, kiss goodbye chased. Hunt your heart, Grant. I'll wait. Or not. Alone on the strand, breakers pounding. I screamed into wind. Rage at Elias, self, fate. Salt stung tears. Clarity cracked through. Betrayal wasn't his death, but my clinging. Time to heal solo. Autumn gilded the northwest. Maples aflame along Aurora Avenue. Harvest moons swelling over the sound. Theo's absence carved fresh hollows. Texts tapering to polite check-ins. His poetry readings attended solo. Seat empty beside. I threw into creation. Graphic novel pitch. Jungle echoes. Semi-autobio. Grant-like protagonist navigating love's wilds with a grizzled mentor. Pages pulsing queer heart. Agent in Portland bit. Raw. Real. Shop it. Momentum surged. A lifeline amid drift. Solitude bred reflection. Evenings. Balcony vigils with Elias's journal. Entries blurring into therapy fodder. Dr. Reyes probed. What gift does his silence give? Pondered. Rain pattering. Space. To grieve without apology. Group sessions at the center. Queer men's circle in a converted church basement. Became anchor. Stories swapped over herbal tea, from coming out scars to partner losses. One vet, Marcus, shared Elias-like tale. Hid till 50. Lost everything. Gained self. His nod fueled. Late blooms weren't lesser. November elections buzzed. City tense. Ballots mailed. Debates droning TVs in corner bars. I volunteered canvas and hill, knocking doors with Mia, clipboards heavy with voter guides. For visibility, she said, arm-linked. One stoop, elderly couple. Gay marriage? Still, the husband's gruff thawed to questions on my art. His wife slipped cookies, whispering, My nephew's like you. Be kind to yourself. Micro-moments mended, weaving community net. Thanksgiving redux at Clara's. Table fuller, Theo absent but welcomed in toasts. Walt cornered post pie, porch cigar ritual. Heard about the book. Proud kid. Elias B2. His eyes softened. Wrote him letters, after Robert. Never sent. Regrets a bitch. Confession bridged. Uncles as allies hidden. I shared the safety box trove. He nodded grave. He was mapping you home. December deep and chill, holidays a gauntlet. Solo tree trimming, ornaments dads, Elias's carved wooden elk added. Sparked memory flood, jungle dawn, his voice coaching my stance. Tears watered tinsel, I boxed the elk gentle. New Year's, house party at Theo's invite, tentative bridge. Crowded loft in Ballard, indie folk strumming, he pulled me to kitchen, hands flour dusted from cookies. Missed you, kiss tentative, then deep, forgiveness in flick of tongue. We rebuilt slow. Dates at oyster bars in Fremont, shucks and stories. Hikes in discovery, his locks catching light. Intimacy reignited, patient. His body familiar yet renewed, laughs punctuating peaks. We're verse 2, he quipped, post-glow. But shadows lurked. My novel's deadline loomed, Elias's ghost in margins. One night, drafting climax, mentor's farewell, protagonist's solitary hunt, Theo read over shoulder. Heavy. You okay? I nodded, but vulnerability cracked. Scared it'll end like that. He held me. Ours doesn't have to. Winter solstice brought betrayal's echo. Riley visited, first since funeral, Bozeman burdens lighter. We met at a dive in Pioneer Square, dim lamps swinging, pool cues cracking. Over whiskeys he slid a flash drive. Dad's videos, logged his thoughts and days. We watched in my apartment, screen glow casting blue. Elias in ranch kitchen, face gaunt, rambling tender. Grant, if you see this, know the jungle wasn't accident. Subconscious, maybe way to force truth. Cowardly, yeah, but loved you enough to bleed for it. Frame froze on his smile, crinkle-eyed. Riley gripped my shoulder. He named you in the will, ranch share. Sell or keep. Shock numbed. Montana loomed, Elias's legacy tangible. Need time. Post-departure, Theo found me staring ceiling. What now? I confessed video will. His brow furrowed. Go. Claim it. Or it'll claim you. Wisdom stung. Our rhythm faltered, his patience thinning. January thawed tentative. Novel submitted. Agent buzzing. Bids incoming. Elation spiked, but crossroads beckoned. I flew Montana. Snow blanketing plains. Ranch air pine sharp. Linda met at airport, hug warmer. He'd want you here. Tour. Sprawling acres, elk grazing, Elias's shop tools dust-kissed. In his room. Guest now, journal open to last entry. Grant's my north. If I falter, point him there. Nights, firelit talks with Linda. Her suspicions young, forgiveness hard won. Love's not ownership, she said. He was yours, but free. Resolution stirred. Sell share, fund novels print run. Elias's gift birthing art. Back Seattle, Theo waited, airport reunion kiss salt-edged. Decided. Yeah, forward. But crisis brewed internal. February, Theo's poetry chapbook launch. Intimate reading at Elliott Bay Books. Crowd wrapped. His words wove us. Lover with haunted eyes, teaching me patience in the chase. Applause thundered. Backstage, champagne fizzed. But a fan cornered Elias's cousin visiting, eyes narrowing. You're the rebound? After my kin. Venom low, but Theo overheard, face paling. Drive home silent, tension crackling. At my door, he exploded gentle. Is that what I am? Placeholder. Hurt mirrored mine once. No, God, no. You're. Words failed. Elias's video echoed, subconscious pulls. Healing's messy, but you're real. He softened, but seed planted, trust's fragile bloom. March rains lashed, novel acquired. Indie press, queer imprint. Launch planning buzzed. Readings in Portland, signings in Seattle. Theo supported, but distance grew. His slams booked, my edits endless. One night, post-argument over canceled dinner. Work again. He packed overnight bag. Space Grant. Before we break. Door click echoed jungle shot. Alone, panic crested. History rhyming, loss looping. I drove peninsula, rain sheeting, trail mudslick. Clearing unchanged. I screamed at ferns. fists pounding earth till knuckles bloodied. Not again. Collapse followed, sobs mingling mud. Dawn broke, resolve hardening. Call Theo, voicemail raw. I choose us. Fight for it. He returned noon, duffel dropped, arms open. Me too. We talked till dusk. Fears aired, boundaries drawn. Lovemaking followed, deliberate, eyes locked, bodies affirming. No ghosts, he whispered. Just us. April bloomed defiant. Cherry blossoms powdering streets, novel proofs arriving. But external storm gathered. Tucker surfaced, email chain to my agent. Anonymous. Books fiction? Based on my buddy Kane's suicide. Defamation. Panic spiked. Legal consults loomed. Mia rallied. Sue his ass for harassment. But deeper. Exposure's terror? Elias's story mine to tell? Confrontation brewed. I met Tucker at a neutral diner, Ballard, Booth's vinyl cracked. He loomed, face ruddy. Twist in his death for profit? Lo. Rage boiled. He wrote it first in journals, videos. You buried him alive with your straight arrow bullshit. Words flew, heated. He stormed out, but see doubt. Was art exploitation? Theo grounded. Truth heals. Yours his same vein. Launch neared. Nerves electric. May unfurled verdant. Puget lowlands greening under tentative sun. Novel launch loomed. Elliott Bay, packed house buzzed. I paced green room. Proof stacked. Theo's hand steadying. You've got this. Doors opened. Crowd swelled. Mia front row. Clara beaming. Even Riley flown in. Quiet support. Reading's trembled voice. Opening chapter. Jungle hook raw. Bullet crack. Blood spray. Eyes locking in revelation. Gasps rippled. Applause thundered post page. Q&A delved. How much autobiographical? I paused, truth spilling. All of it. Love. Loss. The hunt within. Theo's pride glowed from wings. Signings flowed. Lines snaking aisles. Readers sharing scars. Late comings out. Partner griefs. One man, 50s, grizzled beard. Reminds me of my Tom. AIDS took him 92. Thanks for voicing the quiet. Hugs exchanged. Tears shared. Art's alchemy. Turning pain communal. Post-event. After party at a Hill wine bar. Theo toasting to Grant's wild. Kiss ceiling. But Tucker lurked email. Not done. Talked to lawyers. Menace hummed, but momentum carried. June pride pulse triumphant. Float rides. Rainbow regalia. Theo and I marched arm in arm. Novel banners fluttering. Media nibbled. Local queer rags profiling jungle echoes as midlife queer odyssey. Podcast invite. Late bloomers. Host probing Elias's shadow. Suicides, the betrayal? I nodded, mic close. His mind to self. But forgiveness? That's the romance. Listeners flooded inbox. Gratitude. Mirrors held. Yet conflict crested domestic. Theo's chapbook tour booked national. Readings in Austin, Brooklyn. Clashing my promo jaunt. 3 weeks. I asked over dinner. Thai basil steaming. His eyes shadowed. Career Grant. Like yours. Fracture lines spidered. Elias's abandonment echo. My cling morphing control. Fights escalated. Snapped words over dishes. Silences icing beds. One night, post-slam, he returned late. Whiskey breath. You're still hunting him. In me. Heart seized. Know us. Building. But doubt seated. He crashed couch. Dawn departure airport run cold. Solo promo. Portland reading. Indie shop cozy. Crowd intimate, questions deep. Post. A fan lingered. Jasper. 30-ish. Artist with ink-sleeved arms. Eyes hazel like mine once dreamed. Your words. Hit home. Late bloomer here. Coffee turned walk along Willamette. Sparks unintended. His laugh easy. Vulnerability shared. Back Seattle. Guilt nod. Theo's text sparse. Safe travels. July heat baked, novel climbing charts, indie lists, queer bestsellers. Buzz electrified, but isolation deepened. Mia intervened. Hike in Cascades. Alpine meadows wildflower strewn. Theo's scared, she said, trail crunching, of losing you to ghosts. Summit view. Peaks jagged, valleys verdant. Mirrored psyche. Vistas vast, paths myriad. Call to Theo mid-descent. Voice cracking. Come home. Fight together. The arrived evening airport hug bone meld. Missed you, idiot. Reconciliation burned. Bodies frantic on living room floor. Apologies and gasps. Laughter post-climax. No more solos, he vowed. But trust's rebuild was labor, date nights mandatory, therapy joint. Dr. Reyes mediated. Patterns repeat till broken. Name yours. Elias's for mine. Abandonment fear. Theo's, erasure in my orbit. Tools forged. Check-ins daily, vulnerabilities voiced. August waned smoky, wildfires east, air acrid. Tucker escalated. Cease and desist via mail. Claims of slanderous portrayal. Lawyer consult. Pro bono queer legal aid. Fierce. Counter with truth. Journals as evidence. Court date set. Stress spiking. Rally. Clara sent care packages. Spoken jerky. Notes Thompson's tough. Riley testified willingness. Video release. Theo anchored. Readings attended. Hands held in waiting rooms. Trial day dawned crisp. Courthouse granite imposing. Tucker testified bluster. Kane was straight. Books lies. Cross-exam crumbled. His barroom slurs exposed via affidavits. My turn. Stand steady. Journals tendered. Elias owned his story. I honor it. Jury deliberated hours. Verdict. Dismissed. Defamation baseless. Lobby embrace. Theo's warrior. Kiss triumphant. Tucker slunk. Tail tucked. September harvest mooned. Novel tour winding. Final stop. Bozeman. Elias's turf. Linda hosted launch at local bookstore. Ranch kin attending wary warm. Reading hushed room. Jungle climax. Mentors fall. Protagonists rise. Applause swelled. Linda post. He'd blush. Proud. Grant. After. Fire pit at ranch. Stars pricking black. Stories circling. Riley shared. Dad journaled you post-hospital. Grant's my dawn. Healing circle closed. Partial. October chilled. Leaves carpeting paths. Theo proposed casual over pumpkin ale at our haunt. Shack up? Official. Heart swelled. Yes. Move-in weekend. His books shelving mine. Locks brushing as we unpacked. Domesticity bloomed. Mornings shared. Coffee rituals. Evenings sketching his poems visualized. Intimacy deepened. Trust's fruit. Touches reverent. Peaks shared sighs. But high tide crested November. Novel sequel greenlit. Theo's full collection acquired. Dual careers pulled. His East Coast readings, my California signings. Pre-holiday fight. Cancel Brooklyn? He snapped. Can't. Agents locked. Door slam echoed old pains. Alone. Panic clawed. Cycle repeating? Midnight drive to his loft, pounding door. Don't run. Us against orbits. He pulled in, tears mutual. Scared of losing. Bed talk till dawn. Compromises plotted. Joint tours. Sabbaticals synced. December twinkled resilient. Joint tree trimming, ornaments mingled. His jazz vinyls spinning beside my novel proofs. Holiday with pods. Clara's spoken feast. Theo's family zoom from Philly. Black queer warmth enveloping. New Year's. Rooftop party hill. Countdown kiss under confetti. Resolutions whispered. Grow together. Fireworks burst. Mirroring inner light. January 2026 dawned hopeful. But undercurrents stirred. Anonymous mail. Photo. Elias Young. Arm around mystery man. Note scrawled. Whole truth. Sender unknown. Pulse racing. Theo steadied. Face it. Or it haunts. Digging unearthed. Elias's 90s lover. Alive in Tacoma nursing home. Alzheimer's shadow. Visit planned. Closure beckoning. February Valentine's soft. Surprise getaway. Cabin in Snoqualmie. Snow blanketing pines. Fire crackling. Lovemaking snow-muffled, bodies snow-warm. Forever? He asked, post-glow. Hunt's over, I replied. Found you. March greened, visit day. Tacoma facility sterile, but eyes lit, faded blue, recognizing flicker. Elias. Voice quaver. Stories spilled halting. Their youth, hidden love shattered by plague. He ran to save me pain, he said, but loved deep. Gift. Forgiveness proxy, Elias's chain broken. April bloomed full. Sequel outlining. Theo's arc woven. Composite. Pride planning. Joint panel. Love's iterations. Tucker faded. Rumor mill quiet. May warmed. Anniversary jungle hike. Clearing sacred now, hands laced. Shocked everyone, Theo teased. Us included. June 2026 Pride crested rainbow. Panels packed. Our talk electric. From jungle to dawn. Queer cartographies. Audience leaned. Questions probing. Healing's endpoint? Theo fielded. Journey. Not dot. Post. Street festival throbbed. Drag brunches. Queer choirs harmonizing. Arm in arm we wove crowds. Theo's locks catching sun. My novel clutched by fans. A kid, 16. Shy. Came out last week. Your book's map. Hug exchanged. Legacy rippled. July heat shimmered. Sequel drafting fevered. Pages pouring. Elias's echo faint now. Theo's presence foreground. Domestic deepened. Shared balcony garden. Tomatoes ripening beside basil. Arguments rarer. Resolved over walks. One eve. Post spat over dishes. Your mess. He pulled me close, laugh diffusing. Team us. Bed followed, slow burn. His body arch, lithe, known whispers affirming. August wildfires smoked horizons, but our orbit stabilized. Montana trip. Ranch sale closed. Proceeds seeding queer youth art grant. Elias Kane Memorial. Linda teared at signing. He'd approve. Dedication plaque. For late hunters. Finding light in green shadows. Riley joined. Twins 2. Family forged anew. Blood and chosen. September equinox balanced. Book tour joint. West Coast crawl. Readings tandem. His verse preceding my prose. Synergy sparking. San Francisco stop. Castro vibrant. Panel on midlife queering. Elders nodding. Fan question regrets. I paused. Not voicing sooner. But timing's grace. Theo's hand under table anchor. October chilled crisp. Leaves vortexing streets. Crisis subtle. Theo's doc visit routine. But biopsy flagged. Benign. Results confirmed. But fear's grip lingered. Hospital wait replayed Elias's ER vigil. I confess terror. Lost too much. His kiss. Not me. Vaccinated, vigilant. Relief bonded deeper, checkups calendared, vulnerability ritual. November elections polarized, but we canvassed undaunted. Door knocks for equality measures. Badges pinned. One porch, bigot slur, fairy tales. Theo's retort sharp. Real as your fear. Laughter post, resilience fuel. Thanksgiving Claras. Tables groaning. Theo's pie lauded. Waltz toast. To loves that endure hunts. December twinkled. Holidays hybrid. Spokane drive. Then Philly flight. His family's soul food spread. Aunts quizzing my art. New Year's Eve. Return flight delayed. Airport bar toast. To unwritten chapters. Midnight kiss over champagne. Resolutions joint. Travel sabbatical, cabin cascades. January 2027 snowed soft. Sequel submitted. Agent raves. Triumph. Acceptance party small. Mia, Riley Zoom. Theo's poem toast. February Valentine cabin escape. Snowshoe treks. Firelit reads. His verses aloud. My drafts shared. Lovemaking hearth warm. Bodies synced seasons. March greened early. Grant launch. Youth mural project. Capitol Hill blank canvas. Kids sketched. Queer dreams and spray. Intertwined hands. Rainbows arcing jungles. Dedication. Elias's elk carving centerpiece. Hunt your truths. Media covered. Ripples wide. April bloomed riot, Theo's collection re-release, anniversary edition, my illustrations gracing covers. Joint launch, Seattle Rep Theater, spotlight shared. Crowd roared. After party danced till dawn, bodies close amid bass. May warmed, wedding whispers. Not grand, but intentional courthouse simple. Then beach vow renewal alky, dad's fishing grounds.
Invites intimate. Clara, Mia, Linda, Riley.
Rings tungsten, etched coordinates jungle clearing. Vows raw mine, you my dawn post-storm. His partner in every chase. Reception bonfire, stories circling. Elias toasted gentle, ghost benevolent. June Pride 2027. Married March, rings glinting. Panel evolved, queer unions, unscripted. Q&A heartfelt. Advice for late starters? Start. Messy, but yours. Festival after. Floats, feathers, forever etched. July cascaded, honeymoon postponed, work whirl. But micro getaways. Weekend Vancouver, border hop easy, gastown haunts. August cleared calendars. True escape, Costa Rica. Real jungle, irony grinned. Hikes mist-shrouded, howler monkeys chorusing. One trail, overlook vast. Theo knelt. Not proposal, but renewal. Still choose you.
Kis roinkised, canopy whispering oshent.
September harvest, sequel launch blockbuster. Tour packed, sold out coasts. Back home, quiet. Garden harvest salsa, night stargazing. October chilled, anniversary hike. Peninsula return, clearing hallowed. Picnic fern fringed. Theo's head lap. Shocked us all. Laughter bubbled. November grade grateful, elections won. Progress incremental. Canvas victory party. Kin toasting. December holly decked. Traditions blended. His jazz carols, my Thompson pies. New Year's, balcony countdown. To us unbroken. Fireworks bloomed, mirroring souls. January 2028 dawned vibrant. Third project brewing. Co-authored. Verse-prose hybrid. Echo trails. February cabin redux. Drafts born fireside. March mural expanded. Youth grant phase 2 walls alive stories. April taxes tedious but file joint. Future tangible. May greened. Wedding vow beach revisit. Alky sands. Waves lapping. Rings recast light. June pride crescendo. Keynote slot. From shock to symphony. Crowd vast. Words winged. Jungles not end beginning. Love shocks. Then sings. Applause ocean. July heat. Costa sequel. Deeper trails. Sloth sightings slow.
Auguste sabbatical solide. Cascade cabin permanent.
Whispers. September equinox. Book co-launch. Hybrid hailed. Queer opus. October harvest moon. Ranch revisit. Grandkids camping. Fireside tales Elias inspired. November balanced. Thanksgivings multiplied. December twinkled. Holidays heartful. As year waned, reflection deepened. From bullets crack to this, love's long arc. Bending human. Elias's gift. Not just survival but song. We stood balcony, city lights winking. Theo's arm waist. Happy, he murmured. Shatteringly. Kiss sealed. Stars witnessing. In the end, the jungle didn't just shock. It remade. From bloodied ferns to this quiet bloom. A life claimed. Fiercely. Fully. Human, after all flawed. Fierce, forever hunting light.